My phone is right here, Jay. Right here. Come on. Yeah. You got a better phone than I do. Switch.
You want to talk about your
Yes. True Colors is the youth and young adult safe space that's run out of 11 Halsey Street. On Wednesdays from 4 to like 5:30, we have Randall, who is a really awesome man, come and do drumming with us, where we get to kind of like go on the djembe, do little hand drums and stuff like that. We also have a game night on Thursdays, and the second and fourth night is movie night. Yes, and that is a place that I helped co-found 3 years ago, actually, when I originally first moved to Newark, and when I was kind of looking for a space myself and being like, all right, so forget it, we have a space, let's try to run programming out of it, and let's try to get some things happening. So we have game night and movie night, and I'm just like everywhere. Thank you, Jay, for sitting in the front row. Yes, and on Wednesdays from 1 to 3, we have praise, not on Wednesdays, on first and third Wednesdays of the month. We have praise and worship service, which is a really awesome thing because it's kind of just like praise how you want to praise. Like bring in music, you want to sing, that's cool. You want to dance, that's cool. You never got a chance to shout in the sanctuary, come and shout with us and have good times. Because we oftentimes know that while walking this life and walking in the fullness of who we are in ourselves, we definitely need some spiritual refueling. And it's non-denominational, so if you want to come with your prayer mat and everything, please feel free. You want to come with your beads, please feel free. You want to teach us something new, please feel free. I always like learning. But the space is open from Wednesday from 4 to 7, and on Thursdays from 4 to 9. Once again, 11 Halsey Street. All are welcome. I hope to see you guys there. 4 to 8 on Thursdays. Ooh, it's been an interesting week. You got anything to say?
Let's give a round of applause for Jay.
Thank you, Jay. My mentor keeps me on point.
So, in the two previous panels, the last question that they were asked was what words of wisdom and encouragement would they have for the generations to come and the future generations and the younger generations? What would you like to share with the older generations?
Oof.
Oh, wow.
Ooh, all right.
All right.
Okay.
You wanna start this off?
I can roll my sleeves up.
I wanna.
You can roll down.
With the older generation, I would like to give thanks to Natalie that spoke earlier, because I never had a chance to meet an older woman that did something positive with herself, because I hear she's at school and she did all these things. And I look now at my generation and the generation that's after me, and it's no school, it's no nothing. So to sit in the audience and hear her say that she was educated and she did what she had to do without prostituting, no sex work, no nothing. She just left one place and went to another place without nothing, just to be able to be the woman that she is today. So I'm really thankful. Thank you, Natalie.
Oh, well, to the previous generation. I can't stress acceptance enough, and the fact that the youth are looking for just that. And I know that at times we can be a little intolerable and hard to understand. So I present to the youth, however, with the right networking and persistence, you can find acceptance and you can find your way around all this negativity that's out here. And to the older generation, help us along the way. I mean, you guys, you've been through it, you've seen it, you know this already. Help us along the way because it will be worth it. And after all, we'll be taking care of you when you get older. So, help us out. She's sitting.
What I would say to the older generations, first is just thank you for the paths you've embarked on, for building those bridges on your backs that we can cross and then embark on new trails and continue to build upon that legacy. And just continue to support us as we, embark in those uncharted territories and journeys, because there are, of course, a lot of generational differences. We live in a different time and space. Politics are different. The way we understand ourselves in this world are different. And, nurture our difference and let us continue to keep the fire lit.
Older generation. Let debauchery reign a little bit. I say this because hearing older people talk about prides before and how pride was and how awesome pride was and everything like that. I feel like sometimes in this push for marriage equality, young people are kind of yes, we're flamboyant, we're out here, debauchery reigns in our circles and stuff like that. And now with this push for marriage equality, it's we kind of am trying to look as respectful and as normal as possible so we can get rights and everything. However, I just want the debauchery, kind of our thing in our community. It's kind of one of those things we're known for with straight people too. It's straight people don't go to Pride to support us. They go because they get to wear as little as they want and look at naked women and men and freaking, be a little flamboyant, rambunctious, and then they go home to their regular lives. Debauchery is okay. I would like to say that. I would also like to say elders, for the ones that are out here continuing to strive, for the mentors that are out here, for doing work in the community, there are 4 or 5 other elders that aren't doing shit. So check your friends, because it's hard to respect, it's hard to respect, a group of positive elders when they hang out with the elders that you kind of slept with last year when you weren't of age. Just saying. So I'm just saying, snaps, are we being for real or are we not? I'm trying to talk to y'all so we can get some things done in our community. If you don't want to hear it, put on Lady Gaga. But I say all that, and I also say that in the midst of all that, in the midst of all the fuckery that the youth kind of bring upon us and everything like that, please just continue to be available and continue to tell your stories, because how are we ever supposed to transition and reach to the heights that you've reached if we don't know that you were hanging out at a similar globe of your generation doing, interesting drugs of your generation, and that you had to go through steps to get to the place where you are now. A lot of times I feel like that story is not necessarily told by elders, the story of what you really went through, the fuckery that you had to overcome to be the awesome elder that you are today. I feel like we oftentimes don't get into those conversations due to kind of boundaries and where you want to place things. And if you're mentoring someone, you don't necessarily want to jump to that part because you're ethics and rules and everything like that. However, I feel like those are the things and those are the true stories that are really going to start making positive and powerful impacts and change in our community, especially when I see a swaggy lesbian that's in a 3-piece suit, but I know that 20, 30 years ago, she was dressing in skinny jeans and acid wash stuff, and she was just a hot mess, But she did everything that she needed to so she can get to this point of comfort where she can be whoever she wants to be and walk strong in her spot. We just need to know the path you took so that ours isn't as hard. So we need to know you guys, period.
So we're going to end on that note. Let's give an enthusiastic applause.
Thank you all for being here and sharing history with us and making history together. Just want to remind you again, there's a reception downstairs in the art gallery. Just go down the stairs and to the right, you'll see it. Again, you could stop by the exhibit. You could stop into the booth there if you want to add your voices. The booth is up there and ready to record you. If you parked on deck 1, stop at registration for the parking coupon. And do fill out your exit surveys, okay? The purple slips is going to really help us out. Okay, bye, everybody. See you in the reception. And 6 o'clock tonight, Coffee Cave, 45 Halsey Street, okay, for the final party, celebration, and performance of the evening, okay? 6 o'clock tonight.